Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about that moment, that really critical moment right after a user test. You're sitting on a gold mine of feedback, but honestly, it just feels like a huge, messy pile. And the biggest question is, where do you even start? I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? The sessions are finally done, you've said goodbye to your participants, and now you're just left staring at this mountain of notes, transcripts, and maybe even a bunch of recordings. It's exciting for sure, but it's also kind of daunting. So how do you take all of this raw stuff and turn it into a clear path forward? And that right there is our whole mission. We have to cut through all the noise, the one-off comments, the individual opinions, so we can find the signal. The signal is those truly actionable insights. It's all about turning chaos into clarity. So where do we kick things off? Well, with the very first, most foundational step, actually documenting the feedback. Now, I know it sounds super basic, but trust me, getting organized is the bedrock for everything else that's going to follow. Look, before you can spot any patterns, you absolutely need a single source of truth. This just means systematically documenting every single piece of feedback. It doesn't matter if you're using a fancy feedback grid or just a simple spreadsheet. The goal is to get all of your observations into one organized place. Here's a little pro tip. Come up with a consistent tagging system from the get-go. You will thank yourself later, I promise. This kind of discipline is what makes real analysis even possible. Okay, so once we have all our feedback neatly documented, we can finally move on to the really fun part, analyzing the insights. This is where we stop being data collectors and start becoming gold miners, digging for those golden nuggets of information. And we can do this using a really simple but incredibly powerful three-step framework. First, we'll identify the patterns. Then we'll prioritize the changes we need to make. And finally, we'll track our progress over time. See? It's not magic, it's a method. First up, we identify patterns. You need to think of yourself as a detective here. A single opinion, that's just a clue. What you're really looking for are those recurring themes, the things that pop up again and again and again across different users. That's where you'll find the real evidence. This idea is so simple, but it is absolutely crucial. Think about it. If one user gets stuck somewhere, hey, it could just be an outlier. But if 3 or 4 or even 5 users all trip over the exact same step, that's not noise anymore. That is a powerful signal screaming at you, telling you exactly where you need to focus. A word of caution, though. Try to avoid confirmation bias. Only seeing the patterns you hoped you'd see. You have to be open to what the data is really telling you. So once you've found these patterns, you can move on to step 2, prioritization. And this is so important because let's be real, no team has the time or the resources to fix every single thing at once. You have to make smart choices about what you're going to tackle first. And this slide, it just lays out the sorting process perfectly. You have to separate the must-haves from the nice-to-haves. Is an issue literally stopping users from completing a core task? Well, that's a critical fix. It needs immediate attention. Is it a cool suggestion that only one very passionate user brought up? That might have to be a future improvement. You've got to be careful not to let the loudest voice in the room dictate your priorities. It's all about true user impact. That focus is everything. And finally, step 3 is all about creating a living history of your product's journey. Tracking your progress, make sure that the amazing insights you get from one test don't just get forgotten by the time the next one rolls around. You can see that cycle right here in action. You actually document how the feedback from that first user test directly shaped the changes you made in version 2. This creates this super clear record of why you made certain decisions, and it shows how every single iteration is a direct response to what your users actually need. So, after all of this documenting, all this analyzing and tracking, what's the big payoff? What's the goal that we're all working towards here? This is what it's all about, impactful change. A careful, structured analysis makes sure your team isn't just staying busy, it's being truly effective. It means you're focusing your precious energy on the improvements that really matter to your users, and you can be confident you're moving your solution in the right direction. And that's really the whole journey, right there. By following this process, you take that initial pile of chaotic, totally overwhelming notes, and you transform it into something incredibly powerful, a focused, prioritized, and crystal clear action plan that's built on a foundation of real user feedback. So I'll leave you with the question to chew on for your own projects. If you look at all the feedback you've gathered so far, What is the single most important pattern that's telling you something right now? Find that, and you've just found your next step.